What's up guys, my name is Miss Pure Editor. Today's video is part of my AP Literature video series. We're going to tackle how to ace the AP Literature book essay, so let's get started. So what is the book essay? The book essay is the third essay that will be in your exam packet when you take the AP Literature exam. And what it'll do is give you a prompt and a list of books, and you can either choose to use one of those books on the list to answer the prompt, or you can think up of any of the books that you've read in preparation for this exam and choose whichever one you think best fits the prompt. When preparing for the AP exam, people tend to build up an information bank of books to analyze in order to answer any prompt, but there are a few mistakes that students make when building up their info bank. They'll try to read 60 books and memorize the content of all of these books in order to answer the prompt, which can be a pretty daunting task. Or will tend to choose a bunch of books that are pretty similar in style and content, such as reading 6 Shakespeare plays. Instead, I suggest that you should find a balance by reading roughly 6 to 8 versatile books, so books that have a wide variety of time periods, themes, settings, and characters that can apply to any prompt you'll encounter. But how do you choose these 6 to 8 books to analyze in depth for the AP exam? Well, you'll focus on these 5 central topics, which will cover pretty much any prompt that you'll find for the book's essay. The first theme is the hero's journey, and this deals with a hero who has a tragic flaw and goes on some sort of adventure, endures a crisis, and undergoes a transformation. The hero's journey is a really important archetype to know for not only the AP Literature essays, but also the multiple choice section, so I suggest that you check this out. However, a word of caution on Hamlet. This is a really popular text among AP students, and it's kind of overused in the AP Lit books essay, so I would be cautious when choosing this to write the essay. If there's another text that's a better fit, go with that. Historical importance. So this deals with a really historically significant time period. For example, A Tale of Two Cities deals with the French Revolution and the turmoil that was going on at that time, and here are a few other texts that go along with this topic. Coming of age is a really popular topic for the AP Literature book essay, and a lot of books that you go through in high school align with this topic, such as To Kill a Mockingbird, so these are some easy texts that you can read to answer that prompt. Race and gender aligns with the idea of identity, self-acceptance, and oppression, which are also popular topics. And lastly, revenge and redemption. There's a lot of texts that go with this topic as well. When preparing for the AP Literature book essay, you should make a study guide on each individual book that you use in your repertoire and include an analysis of these elements: the symbols in the book, important themes, turning points, conflicts, backdrop, which is pretty much the setting, and significant character traits. And the most important element to focus on when creating a study guide or analyzing a piece of text is the theme. And that's because every single AP Literature book essay prompt will ask you how a specific element of the text illuminates the meaning of the work as a whole. So they'll ask you, for example, how a significant character trait conveys an important theme. So no matter what the AP prompt is, you'll always have to relate that element back to a specific universal theme conveyed by the piece of text. And here's another really quick tip on how you can boost your essay score. Something that can impress the AP Literature reader, the person who's reading your essay, is including a specific quote from your piece of text. Now, don't freak out. Don't think that you have to memorize a bunch of quotes from your book, but including iconic quotes or quotes that are really easy to remember can show that you have in-depth knowledge of the book and have really read it thoroughly. For example, here are a couple of quotes that you could use. The Kite Runner has the quote, "For you, 1,000 times over." And Moby Dick's first iconic quote, the first line of the entire book, is "Call me Ishmael." And The Great Gatsby's final line is, "So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past." Anyone else want to memorize that quote? Just me? Well, anyway, Using any of these quotes or similar quotes that are pretty easy to remember can boost you from a score of, say, a 7 to an 8 or an 8 to a 9, which is the maximum score you can get on an AP Literature essay. Moving on to the essay structure itself, most people tend to write anywhere between 3 to 6 paragraphs. It'll vary based on how fast that you can write. I tend to write 4 paragraphs. That was the magic number for me. So when writing your introduction, you don't need to include a hook or any sort of stylistic flair. Your intro can be just as short as 2 to 3 sentences. Make sure to almost immediately introduce the book, some context, your theme, and your thesis, which should be the last sentence of your introduction. Your body paragraphs should always include a really clear topic sentence that always refers back to the thesis. And something really essential to note is that you should analyze specific textual evidence in your body paragraphs. Also, don't recount plot details. Assume that your reader has already read the book. So instead of recounting what happened or what was the ending in the book, analyze and interpret specific parts of the text. For example, if you can elaborate on the meaning of a specific symbol, do that. And always remember to tie back to the theme. Relate everything that you've analyzed back to the overall significance of the book. And your conclusion can be just as short as the introduction. Remember to reiterate your thesis and end with an insightful theme statement that also not only relates to the prompt, but just talks about the universal importance of your text in general. Here are just a few quick tips. For many people, saving this essay for last is the best bet. I prefer saving it for last because I tend to spend the most time on my first essay, and if, say, I only have 20 minutes left for my last essay, this one requires the least amount of thinking on the spot, since all you have to do is refer back to your memory and specific details from the book, instead of reading and analyzing a completely new piece of text that you've never seen before. Also, use the AP prompts from the College Board website to practice writing drafts with your information bank. So plan essays using multiple books from your info bank to answer a single prompt. Once you write a few essays with actual AP prompts on the College Board website, you'll become so familiar with your books that you won't even have to think as much when writing. Also, make sure to read the scoring guidelines on the College Board website that acts as a rubric for College Board readers, and that will show you where you can gain points. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap the bell below this video to receive notifications whenever I make a new video. Some of my last few videos are here. Comment below and tell me what other writing topics you'd like me to cover. Stay tuned, and I will see you next time.